Justin with Bulldog Tractor. Talking to you about a recent big brush hogging job. It was a unique job to us that it was one of our first almost forestry services that we did. This job was about an acre-and-a-half, but it was just completely infested with this invasive tree bush that we call the English buckthorn. The homeowner wanted it mowed, removed, but much of it was from below an inch to 2 to 3 inch, and a few of them were 4, 5, and we have a shot of the tractor going over a 6-inch buckthorn. There were also many good trees in there. A lot of native elms and oaks that the homeowner put red survey ribbon around, and we had to kind of navigate zig and zag around those, which put another little bit of spice to it. So with that, and we knew that we had tight spaces. We also had some big trees to brush hog. I went and demoed a stand-on mini track loader with a brush hog attachment from it. With that, we started talking, and another friend had a Bobcat, and we said, hey, why don't you come out here and we'll showcase a mini track loader versus a tractor versus a skid steer, and kind of get a flavor for what all the different machines can do. All right. Good morning. About 6:30 here on a Saturday morning. We're going out to a buckthorn job. Gonna do some brush hogging. It's pretty thick. It's closer to a forestry job than it is a brush hog job. The first order of business is taking the stump grinder off. I got the PTO shaft taken off. Now I just gotta get the sway links loosened up, get the 3-point off of this, and then jump over to the Mr. Hoggy and go put Mr. Hoggy on. It'll take about an hour for us to drive out to the project, so stick along and watch us something.
Sure, it's early, no coffee. Fit? Right.
Fingers.
I never thought that we'd have too small of a trailer.
Yeah. That's a 20-footer. 18 foot with the 2-foot dovetail. That's 20 feet of deck. I hear a lot about people running. Look at that. 20-footer still didn't work. I hear a lot of people running 14 to 16. You can do that, but how comfortable are you with overhanging equipment off a trailer? Then if you start a business and you want to do business for commerce, how comfortable would you be with a commercial motor vehicle officer stopping you and questioning your load securement, and then having equipment hanging off? Those are all the questions that would come up, and you're going to have good answers if you choose to get a 14, 16, even an 18-foot trailer. I don't know. Glad we went with 20 though. I know that. Good morning and welcome to our project. This is about an acre worth of thick buckthorn. Anywhere from call them fingerlings up to, well, as big as you want to go. I know earlier was taking 5-6 inch buckthorn down. I know we have a skid steer, a T190 high and low flow tracked skid loader here with a brush hog attached to it, and he was taking 5, 6, 7, maybe a little bit bigger dead ones down than that also. This is kind of what it looks like before. I mean, thick. You can't even hardly walk in it. I've taken 2 passes down here, and you can kind of see how it clears out and leaves large mulch, rubbish, debris. Multiple trees. This is a 3-inch, about a 3-inch. Hit it, no problem, no big deal. Coming in through here, the homeowner marked out the trees she wants to keep with red survey ribbon. These are some of the other ones that I got to do a second pass over to mulch up.
Watch where you step here.
Yeah, these are big at the base. These are big, and buckthorn is hard wood.
It's huge. Whoop! Just got stabbed.
Yeah, buckthorns have thorns. So right now we're just going through trying to make a property boundary so we know how far to go. There is a wire fence with metal T-posts hanging in there, so we don't want to hit those with the equipment. There are some buildings. We're trying to do our trim work, our detail work, and then save the middle part for just blow and go. We have a stand-on track loader, a mini track loader with a brush attachment on it, and the tracked skid steer with the brush attachment on it. So we got 3 machines out here. I was kind of contemplating buying a mini stand-on skid steer, so this was a good project for us to go do a demo on a machine like that. See how well it does or what it doesn't do compared to the John Deere. The John Deere is 66-inch cutting width. Overall, it's a little over 72 inches from outside to outside. So when we get into trees, I can easily get in between trees if a homeowner wants to save a tree within, it's about 6 feet. All right, here comes the tractor right into the big forest. First thing we need to do is get the wheels up. Here we go. All right, wheels up, here we go. So John Deere Extreme Forestry. It's not what damage will happen, or excuse me, it's not if damage will happen, it's what you're gonna damage. The premium lighting system, yeah, she took a hit. You know, what do you do when you got branches and everything else flying at you, poking at you? I didn't recognize it in time, and we ate one of those. I also found a metal T-post, a fence post, with the brush hog. How'd I notice that? Well, sparks were flying out. So that took all the life out of the teeth. To be expected, though. And that's why, if you're going to get into a business and you're doing garden tilling, you have to recognize the hazard. If you have a reverse rotation tiller, rocks, bricks, everything else that could go up to it. That's why a lot of people like the forward rotation, where it pushes it down. Not as much of a hazard. Debatable which one does a better job, right? But that's one example of taking your equipment out for business and running into potential damage. You have to put in the cost of premium light set. You have to put in the cost of blades on a brush hog. It's just part of what you're part of the job that you're doing, and part of why you're hired for it, right? We are hired as a company to take care of a customer's problem. The customer couldn't knock down all the buckthorn. They had to hire someone. Okay, if I have to bring my tractor in there, I have to account for wear, tear, damage on my equipment. So one bit of advice, the more dangerous construction you get into, the more potential hazardous construction you get into, bid that into your price. It has to account for it. If I wouldn't have came here today, my premium light package would be just fine. The blades of my brush hog would be just fine. I also bent a 3-point pin, one of those, 7/8 of an inch solid steel. Bent one of those while I was ramming into a 4, 5, 8-inch buckthorn. Those are all, call it consumables. I know you have to bid that in. You have to think like they're consumables. I'm going to go do this job. I'm going to need to put in the price of my premium lights. I need to put in the price of replacement blades. I need to put in the labor that it takes me to replace the blades, to replace the lights, etc., etc. So whether you're doing extreme forestry with your John Deere or whatever it is, and that goes for any piece of construction, make sure you bid in hazardous conditions to your price. Thank you.
Yeah, it took us probably about half a day, but we finally got all this cleared out. The 3 machines combined did a pretty good job of making sure that we knocked this out in a reasonable amount of time. Homeowner says they're just going to kind of leave all this here and let it just kind of choke out new buckthorn growth, and maybe we'll come back and mow it down here a few months or a year from now.
Well,
got a helper here. Look at this. That's a lot of buckthorn. But you can see.
In the end, the job was a great success and a fun learning day for us. We completed the job in about 4 hours and spent, maybe 1 extra hour cleaning up some brush that scattered into the lawn and that kind of stuff. The weather was perfect. It was expected to rain all day, and it ended up not raining, but it was overcast, so it wasn't like our typical 90-degree days around here lately. The tractor handled it well. No major significant damage to it. The brush hog handled it very well. I'll post a video soon comparing those 3 machines. I think that'd be very valuable. At least it was to me, so I could see the difference between when they say, you know, what a tractor can brush hog and what it can't. And then, you know, when people say, oh, you need a skid steer with the brush hog to do that. Well, we're going to do a comparison video, and we'll see if how much of that is exactly true. Also, the homeowner understood that it's just not a one and done with buckthorn. It takes about 3 years. Every time you cut one buckthorn, like 14, 15, 20 more sprout up from the stump or the root or et cetera, et cetera. So we might be back there later on this year or next year to do another cut over them. And if you like this video or want to see the comparison between a tractor versus skid steer versus a mini track loader, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
So the homeowner has alerted us that one of the neighbors out here has some pet llamas. So we're gonna go try to see if we can take a look and occupy the kids for just a second. Yeah, we're not gonna venture onto these people's property, but staring right back at us.
Why do we get a pet llama?
We don't need a llama. We got a Peterbilt.